Welcome everybody, Paladins is officially coming out of beta on May the 8th, next Tuesday into launch, and presumably version 1.0. I know I'm a little late to the party, I've been a little busy in real life yesterday and today. Honestly, that's part of the shock really, that this release is so close and announced relatively left field. Sure, we knew hi-rez have been ramping up for release, but I thought we were perhaps 2 patches or more away from that full-on release. Either way, people have been asking for me to weigh in on it, so sit tight as here's my breakdown and my thoughts on the matter. Be sure to let me know how you all feel in the comments section below too. So again, on May the 8th, Paladins will be officially launched, which is literally under a week away. The post went up on the Paladins website titled Launch Celebration, which will be linked in the description below if you want to read it whilst I go along. But I've got 2 big takeaways from it for me here. So the first big thing is every player with an account that has been logged in before May the 8th will be given 200 crystals as a reward for taking part in the beta. In the past, they also gave that awesome Volcanic Makoa skin for everybody, so this is another nice gesture now, I guess. In before people meme about voice packs, though seriously, why is something so integral to conveying a champion's core character still under a purchase? I don't know. Anyway, the next big takeaway, and this is a really good one, which is that they are committed to the current structure post OB64 / Cards Unbound fiasco, where they're basically focusing on monetizing cosmetics, and the cards and core gameplay and stuff like that are free. What they said, to quote, is that they are planning no more major system changes. They found a formula that works for everyone, free cards and sweet cosmetics. And if you've been afraid to get really invested into Paladins because we might change things again, don't worry. This launches our commitment to this vision for Paladins' future. So that was their quote. In short, from here on out, we aren't likely to get major system overhauls. There will be tweaks, game mode rotations, new champions, new events, etc. that keep the game fresh, but not a complete overhaul of the base game that throws the community into madness and maybe even sort of skews how people perceive the game. And I think that's a really good thing. What they have now is healthy and one of the best free-to-play games out there with no pay-to-win elements. Why hi-rez launching now is obviously only known to the devs themselves and the machinations of the marketing team, though some speculation can be had with recent data mines of there being a Nintendo Switch version being worked on, where Nintendo requires fully released games, or that spicy speculation. Though the simplest answer would be to attempt to reanimate the game after some bad press with the OP64 and Cards Unbound fiasco, plus a confusing reaction from the press to original early access back in 2016, often calling it an Overwatch clone and things like that, and I had a bit of a lukewarm reaction back then. And it has come a long way since early access, and I kind of hope that it will be judged in its own merits this time around, although I'm not entirely sure the media circus will be swayed. Weighing in myself with some opinions, I've always thought the new trend of games wearing the early access tag as some kind of armor, whilst actually monetizing the game with microtransactions with hefty price tags, made said tag mute in my mind. It wasn't really an armor and was kind of just an excuse. I mean, in the past, a beta usually meant a 6-month or so testing cycle with no monetization aside from pre-orders, then the launch of a game. Although the gaming industry has changed a lot and games practically get their funding and continue development this way, and with free-to-play titles, they last a long time because there are these microtransactions and there is an incentive to keep adding things to the game, which is a positive. What I'm getting at though is that even though Paladins is still a bit rough around the edges, it is good that we'll be losing the beta tag and ultimately early access tag now after 3 years of a playable version being out there. Though saying that, this particular update cycle does have some rather nasty bugs that could be very off-putting to new players, including dropping on load-ins to matches every few games, the alt and tab crash bug which is really annoying, and competitive continuing with these 2 issues, meaning you could lose default because you have a bot on your team. I really don't want there to be big issues on launch where we might have a big influx of newbies, and that'll be a stumbling block from enjoying the base game experience, which I honestly think is great. Saying that, we were due a patch preview today, and there was no word on that. Plus Wednesday next week would be the 9th, which would be the normal next live patch update. So will there be some last minute polish and bug fixing patch to bring everything into a sort of ship-shaped fashion? We'll just have to see on that one. It could be that during the esports matches this weekend in Vegas, we'll get more updates, but it could have been nice of hi-rez to communicate this in the first place. Between the sort of next week announcement, which is very close, and the vagueness of what is actually happening at launch, I don't know whether they will have really hit the mark with the wider media here. We'll just have to see what they've got in store and if it can pick up traction. At the end of the day, I hope that this launch is successful, and in some ways I do hope it comes with some big announcements this week that can really catch on. Big polish, new adventure mode, even a Switch version might bring in wider hype and draw in people who knew little about the game beforehand. Anyway, that was a pretty short video, but again, be sure to let me know all of your opinions in the comment section below. Do you think that Paladins will get a second win from this release and a bunch of new players, or are you not convinced by this launch? Either way, if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe for more of my content, and hit that bell icon to become part of the notification squad. Thanks for watching, everybody. Joshino.